Wow, wow, wow. That was an inspiration and motivation from the spiritual warfare. Welcome to your radio station, Agape FM. I am Nwabisa and this is the Midday Talk. Today I am sitting with a lovely man who seems to be nervous today. Welcome, Gavin. Welcome to Agape FM. And most importantly, welcome to the Midday Talk. Dear listeners, this is the Midday Talk where we bring you the movers and shakers, the businessmen and women. And movers and shakers of Ekabeh. This is a platform to share stories and a platform where we grow your business and we also put you on the spot as well. So today we are speaking with Gavin Gouws of Gavin Gouws Photography and Video. Am I pronouncing your surname correctly?
100%. Thank you very much.
All right.
It's I'm much more comfortable behind the camera, and it's not so easy being in front of the camera today. But let's do this.
Yes, we are doing this, and you're taking it very, very, very good. You are good. If you're tuning on our live platform, thank you very much. Thank you for joining. If you are listening through the app or the website, once again, thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to be the vessel and to be your host today for the next 30 minutes. The time now is 2 minutes past 1 on a Friday afternoon. It is the 18th of February 2022. Outside it is 25 degrees Celsius. So it is a lovely Friday. Do you have any shout outs that you want to give out? Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to? Is there anyone that we want to say hi to in the next 1 minute?
I'd like to say hi to Dalene, my love, my buddy. Hope you're having a nice day. And to all the men, I belong to a men's group. Some of them I think are listening in. And any photographers that might be listening in, I hope I can be of some assistance to you today. And looking forward to representing the Lord.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you. Hello, Dalene.
Yep.
Hello, Dalene. Hello. I've heard wonderful news about you. So welcome again. And like I always do, dear listener, that we always read the bio so that you know who we're speaking with and what the business is all about. Reading the bio goes like: Dalene and Gavin Gouws of Gavin Gouws Photography and Video are a dynamic couple passionate about what they do, specializing in lifestyle photography. They respect and love capturing different kinds of personalities and relationships that you can expect to enjoy in a relaxed, fun time working with them, with plenty of space to be yourself. They love to shoot as few as posed images as possible, and as many quick, candid moments of using naturally different, spontaneous, and fun approach. Beauty, love, happiness, and fun, including peace, can be found in everyone, and they look forward to showing you unique moments of yours. Naturally different, spontaneous, fun, and creative, determined to exceed all your expectations. Grateful with our over 1 million photographs. We'll be talking about that as well. 1 million photographs taken from 1,000 weddings in more than 20 years. They have the experience and necessary skills to capture your memories. They want to show your unique romance story of a fun-filled day, moments of true love and real, natural, beautiful you. Your unique togetherness, fun, and emotions are an honor for them to capture. Welcome, Gavin Gouws Photography and Video. Okay. Before we get to the photography and the video business, right? Tell me a brief description about Gavin, who Gavin is, and why did you start this business?
I think the business found me, the talent, the gift from God. I started at school taking photographs. And gained a bit of experience and had fun doing it and confidence doing it. And I've always felt it to be an honor, and I've always felt it to be a privilege to be able to capture people's memories. I've always said that the day that I don't feel like that, I must stop and not do it, because then your heart's not into it. So I still have this passion all the years. It doesn't matter really how many photos or videos we've done. It's the next job that's important.
True.
How are you going to be different the next job? So I still thoroughly enjoy what I do. It is a God-given talent. I don't know everything, still learning. Photography is still evolving and still changing all the time.
True.
And you need to, up your game at all times, be on your toes, otherwise you'll get left behind.
Be on your toes. If you're a photographer out there, or if you are pursuing a career in photography or videography, please do take in your notepads and take out those pens, because we are about to make notes in here and about to learn. Who knows, I might also venture into photography. So there is a slot or a slogan that says naturally different, spontaneous and fun. How did you come up with that, and what does that mean?
When most photographers, including myself, start a business, you need to have some sort of slogan. I actually started with the slogan "Precious Memories."
Oh.
But the public never got it right. They used to call it precious moments, and they used to call it private this and what, and it wasn't quite, didn't mean anything. So over the years, I've wanted to find something that's a lot more, explanatory, that describes what we do. And the naturally different, if I use the word naturally, it is just going to the wedding and naturally doing what you're supposed to do.
Oh, okay.
It's a gift that you have if you recognize it. And even naturally can also mean, like in nature, the creation of nature, the way the right background appears, the way the light complements your composition of your picture, the color of the plants, or the so that word natural means a lot. The different, well, you need to be different. You can't take the same old pictures as everyone else. The spontaneous word is exactly that. It's to be candid. It's to be spontaneous. It's to be just shoot from the hip. Just unposed is the best images to create. And the fun part of it is that I do like to have a lot of fun.
You make it fun.
I like to, especially when people themselves are a bit stiff or they're a bit shy. We have ways and means of bringing out the fun in you, and we don't have any limits as far as how far we go to create the opportunity where people can be themselves, where they can be real, and without masks, that they're not fake. Because those are the best images that we like to show people, is their personalities and their characters.
Imagine having your picture showing your personality. Oh, that would be great.
Yes.
If you want that, please do contact Gavin Gouws. We'll be leaving those the kind of details if you are getting married. Please do tune in, because we have a photographer here who specializes in that. You mentioned in the bio that you try and get different. There are different approaches to capturing a candid moment. What do you mean by that? What is a candid moment for you, and what are these approaches?
In preparation for today, I did actually go on Google and look what is candid. So I don't want to be clever with the words. I have my own interpretation. It means just to be real.
True.
But it's quick. It's that moment in a moment. It's so your other question was, how do we prepare for it? How do we plan for it?
What are these approaches?
So you need to know your subject. You need to have a relationship with your client, and you need to establish a trustworthy rapport. Where you do need to find out a bit of background about them, about who. If it's at a wedding, relationships are very, very important. The brothers and sisters, the children and the grandparents, the all kinds of relationships are important, and it's in those relationships on the day there are going to be candid moments. A good example is if you can imagine a bride walking down the aisle, and her dad is walking her down the aisle, and that bride's grandmother gives the bride's mother a tissue to wipe her tear. That for me is a good example. I haven't taken a photo like that yet, but I have seen it somewhere else. But that is a beautiful, candid moment, I think. And we look for those moments, and through our experience, we are able to be in that location or that situation or that angle before it happens. It's almost like you're a hunter. And for a man, that's an adrenaline rush to be able to get the shot, you know. To get the kudu, you know, to make biltong, you know. But I don't hunt animals. I hunt moments.
Moments.
And there's lots of them if you just open your eyes. And so we approach our business. I was going to actually call my business a while ago, Through His Eyes.
Through His eyes.
Yeah, through God's eyes, through His eyes. And so we have this approach that we just want to see life through God's eyes. And not only when we're working, but it becomes we're very fortunate and very blessed in life. Even as I'm talking to you now, I'm looking at, you know, the kind, humble person that you are. And I need a camera to photograph that, you know. So, yeah.
So I've heard it somewhere that when you become a photographer, you need to have a sharp eye. And when it comes to being sharp, you need to capture a moment within a moment that's in a moment. At first, I did not understand that until I started interviewing photographers, and I'm like, okay, the passion behind what you guys do is phenomenal. And stick to that name. I love that name. Through His eyes. Maybe one day.
Unfortunately, it's taken. There's a couple of other photographers who have got that same understanding and obedience. But the principle is available for everybody. And it's available in life as well, and it's also available in any business, not only photography. We work for God. We need to do our work as if we're working for God, no matter what you do. It's royal standards. It needs to be done in excellence. And that's what we try and do.
Speaking of discipline, speaking of excellence and principle, right? Opening a new venture, it requires discipline. You need to be determined. You need to know what you're actually doing, and also do some introspection as well. Because it's one thing for me to go into photography where I don't even know what it is and how I will be within that market. So when you established your Gavin Gouws photography and video, what was the most difficult thing that you had to encounter?
When I started, I first of all didn't have a portfolio. I couldn't show anybody any work. So how could I tell them I'm a photographer? So I used my dear sister's wedding. I did take some of the pictures, but not all of them. But I at least said, and I was open and honest, and I just prayed, Lord, please, can I just have one wedding? At least I can have something to show people. And when that wedding came up, I'll never forget, it was a wedding in Sydenham. The color scheme was red, and lots of red roses, bridesmaids' red dresses. And I think I took about, I don't know how many photographs, but I photographed everything. I photographed the dog, the cat, the people's shoes, the cars in the car park. Now I've got a portfolio.
Yeah, you've got something to work with.
And then you just start learning through your work. You learn what you do well. You learn if you make any mistakes, it's very easy. You can just delete the photos and nobody knows about it. But that's how you start. And then you need to join the University of YouTube. And but you've got to do the kind of work that we're talking about, which is lifestyle photography, which is people and weddings and family shoots and couples and corporate functions and engagements and it's a big responsibility, so you better know what you're doing, and you must be able to know your camera very, very well. So learn all what the buttons do, and now practice, and then you just got to be better, get better and better all the time, and then you'll see you'll want to be a certain kind of photographer. You'll have your own certain style. That's always been my aim. I don't know if I ever always get it right, but it's nice to be able to see a photograph and you know that's the photographer that took it because of the way the shot was taken.
I want to double tap on what you said, that the biggest challenge was not having a portfolio. Now, when you're trying to gather, this is in any kind of business, because everyone needs a portfolio to be able to work with people. So would you advise anyone who's starting out or who has a business, but when you're starting out you don't have a business, you don't have a profile, would you advise someone who is starting out that do a portfolio for free, or like take pictures of a couple of people or in that event for free just to get the portfolio, or do you just go in with looking for an incentive and then you just carry on?
That's a good suggestion what you're making. There was a time where I helped students at university or Technicon, it was called in those days. They needed practical experience as part of their studies. And then I had excess equipment. Sure. I had to sell it, unfortunately, because of financial reasons. But I was always having 2 or 3 photographic students work with me on my jobs. They would be second shooters, or they would be lighting assistants, or help carry my bag even, if they would just come with to see what does it feel like, what is it like. So if you can try and find a kind, caring photographer who would allow you to, maybe just come along to a shoot. That's one way of getting involved. But I just want to double tap on something about before you start the photography business, you need to do it for the right reasons. You're dealing with people.
True.
I did mention it briefly. It's a big responsibility, and you do need to have some sort of artistic ability. If you don't have artistic ability, then you won't make it as a photographer.
Yes. And photography requires people to be, you need to have the eye, and you need to be artistic as also. Please do double tap on that. Please be artistic, understand your artistic side, and get to know what you are doing. You spoke about finances. Right. So when it comes to opening a business or establishing a business, is it feasible or is it advisable for a young person to seek financial assistance from established businesses to start up, or should they just start with what they have and then in the long run just look for financial assistance here and there?
It's tricky, Dawn. You've got to have faith. You've got to have strong faith, because you've got nothing.
True.
Who's going to lend you money if you've got nothing?
Exactly.
So how do you go about it? How do you start? I myself, I would just like to share a bit about one of my failures, and so that other people don't make the same mistake. There was a time in our history where there was irresponsible lending. You were able to get credit cards over the phone.
Really?
Yes. And I thought this was great, and I had from about 4 or 5 different companies. I had credit cards, and I lost the plot.
Sure.
And then I just went and bought stuff, and I went and over capitalized, and I didn't seek any financial advice. I was enriching myself, which is also wrong. I wasn't tithing any money. I was not responsible as a steward of God's possessions, because everything's on loan and belongs to Him, not to us.
Yes.
And when I looked again, I went down, and I nearly lost my house and my vehicles, and I was in deep financial trouble, which lasted 7 years for me to get out of. So, as a photographer starting out, just pray about it. Start photographing your own family or your neighbors or your and see how the Lord takes you from there. When you get the money, put some money aside, buy a better lens, buy another camera body, buy some more equipment, and you don't have to do everything in your own might. If you are obedient and understanding to God's purpose and plan for our lives, don't underestimate the power of God. True. And don't even underestimate the power of God's creativity.
Yes.
I got to a stage once in my career where what else must I do? How else can I get better? And is there anything that I'm doing wrong? And this little voice in my ear said, you are too bossy. You are too much in people's faces. You need to back off and give them some more space so that they can be more natural themselves, and then you will actually take better pictures. I didn't find that on YouTube. It was God's voice talking to me about it. And he said, also, by the way, because I was thinking, to keep up, you know, to stay in the game, must I go and study, you know?
Yes.
God said, no, just do those 2 things for me for the rest of this year. And the second thing, by the way, was just start taking different angles. Stop taking the same angles. Stop taking the same photographs. Be different. Be creative. Lie on the floor. Get on a chair. Climb a tree. And yeah, so all credit to God, who's the true director and owner of my company.
Yes, and when we're speaking about talent as well, because remember, we don't go to school or we don't go to university to acquire talent. We are born with this. Is a God-given gift.
Amen.
And we're living in a time that the fourth industrial revolution has taken its toll. Now, companies, mainstream companies, huge companies, big companies are taking it's coming at a disadvantage for them, because workers now, or employees, are taking time, or they're resigning to open their own ventures, or to start their own ventures in whatever institution they're trying in. For instance, you are in photography. Who knows how you started? Did you go to work, or were you working at corporate maybe, and then decided, no, I just want to do this? So before I get to my next question about employees resigning to venture out on their own, were you first employed before you went into such your own venture?
Yes, I was, and in consultation with my boss, I did share my other passion for the business, and when time allowed, I was able to every now and again, only on a Saturday when I was day off actually, I was able to shoot a wedding. But I would never encourage anybody to. I think they call it moonlighting,
Yes.
where you have 2 jobs, and no, that's not on. But when you are off, you're off. You know, it's your own time. If you're not working, you can do what you want in your own time. You know, and have you seen the traffic lately? Do you know- traffic when you drive around.
Yes.
Do you know how many people there are to photograph?
Yes.
Do you know how many birthdays there are? Do you know how many brides to be are in those cars? Do you know how many families need to update their family portfolios?
Yes.
There is enough work for all
Everyone.
photographers.
Yes.
Plenty of work, and we need it. We need more fun and peace in this world.
True.
And so we need more happy photographers.
And we need more happy photographers. Because there are people who, like me, who don't want to be in front of the camera all the time. And there are people who will say, okay, I want to be the spotlight. So if you're a photographer or you want to venture it out, please become a happy photographer. Is it feasible for a young talent to leave their job, to venture out on their own? Would you advise that if you are determined enough, it will be successful?
Okay, so for more than 20 years, I've not earned a salary. But I've never missed a payment.
Sure.
And praise God for that. It's a scary thing, okay, not knowing. There were many months where I had no money. But on the 29th or the 30th of the month, I would get a deposit, and it would be enough money to pay my bills. So if you can handle that kind of pressure in your faith, get your faith right first, because otherwise it's an extremely stressful thing, because you can't get any money anywhere else, if you're on your own. But you can make a living out of it, providing there's no pandemic.
So you provide services for weddings, engagements, outdoor studios, outdoor shoots. You also have real estate. You also do real estate. There's school concerts and plays. There's a lot. There's dance videos, there's parties, christening. There's 21st, birthdays, matric, you name it. Everything that needs capturing, you do it. What is the one thing or one event that you specialize? You say, when I'm shooting this, I'm living. Yes, you're living when you're doing everything, but when you're shooting that particular market, for that particular market, you know that I am home.
It's my next job. It's my next shoot. I'm the ones that I've done, but it's the next job that I'm still nervous about. I'm still, passionate about. What am I going to do? How am I going to get it right? It's the adrenaline rush of it all coming together. I have a checklist of 20 years or whatever of things that I need to go through in my mind before I take the shot. And it's getting to know people, and it's planning, and it's being creative, and it's delivering the style that the couple want. It's not taking photographs that the couple don't want.
True.
Okay,
True.
and it's exceeding all their expectations, and it's also in their company being an example of love and peace, and it's also being a nice person to have at the function, and not a bossy person like I was once before.
Okay, so with
to answer your
yes.
I did a funeral the other day of a very honourable gentleman. He was 100 years old, and he served in the Second World War. And so there was a Boeing Stearman, which is a very, very old-fashioned plane that flew past in front of the guests at the end of the funeral, which was special. So that when the first wind turbine was erected in South Africa, this little pipsqueak here was hired to document it.
Ooh.
And so I went every day to photograph and video Africa's first biggest wind turbine in 2010. When we won the World Cup rugby in 1995, I did the Springbok rugby captain's wedding. And so on and so on and so on. And the Lord knows what turns me on. He knows the type of excitement and challenging work that I enjoy, and it's all those different kind of. I will say it's, to answer your question, it's like extreme, the extreme jobs, the unusual, the different. I looked at the cars in the harbour coming here now. There's a company from Hoogt in Sweden. I think it's Sweden. They transport the cars. So the biggest ship in the world, 8,500 cars it can carry. They needed a photographer to photograph it, and so I didn't apply for it. They found me. So that's the fun that I have in my work. To answer your question,
we have a star in the house.
No.
We have a star in the house. You've got over 20 years of experience. To be 26 to be exact.
Yeah.
Right, 26 years of experience. And now, especially with COVID, people have come to go into different fields, and photography being one of them. There's so many photographers within Gqeberha. I'm not even touching on Eastern Cape, but Gqeberha alone. What is the most common mistake that they do, and how would you advise them?
Common mistake of
in everything they do, the photography side. What is the most common mistake that photographers do?
I see photographers that are not professional. They're not properly trained. They haven't learnt and mastered the craft. They don't fully understand people relationships. I've heard horrible stories. They've lost the photos, the memory cards crashed, that sort of thing. It's a responsible job. This you must know what's. You have to know a lot of things about it. It's not just somebody that, hey, here's a camera, can you take a couple of shots of me? It's you've got to be a counselor for the bride. The hour before she goes to the wedding, she's a mess. You've got to pray with her. You've got to console her. You've got to help stitch her dress up for her, maybe, as a photographer. And then there'll be all sorts of incidents during the function where you have to play a certain role, and where you can play a certain role. You might rub shoulders with somebody that's lonely or depressed, and you can maybe lend an ear there. So I don't think that you must think that you're only going to take photographs.
All right. The time now is 30 minutes past 1 on a Friday afternoon. You know when you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah.
And I've got so many questions. Many questions for you. But let me ask this. When you started, this was 26 years ago. What was
when
your
I was
vision?
18. Yeah.
When you were 18, what was your vision? And have you surpassed that vision, or do you just work on it daily or yearly?
I was working at Macro. I was retrenched. It was a horrible thing, but it was a blessing because then I've done what I've done now. And being in the corporate world, in any corporate world, you have things like visions and values and protocols and morals and procedures and all that. So that did help me in that I transferred, the photography language to that. So what market do I want to photograph, and what is my vision and my values, and I want to honor God. I want to capture things through His eyes. I want people to see the beauty in themselves. I want them to be able to relive moments of love and respect. I want people to have self-esteem boosted in their own confidence because hey, is that really me? Look how beautiful I looked. I didn't know.
Yes.
So it's a very, very useful tool, a camera, and that's also what I am. I'm just using a tool that God supplied me with, and the more I listen to God in my work, the more I enjoy my work, the more I'm blessed. So that I can be a blessing to other people.
Beautifully said. What are the marketing strategies that you've been using throughout these years that have been successful for you?
I'm not good at that.
Marketing.
No. I'm lazy. I don't have the time. I spend too much time editing. Hey, Dalene, my love, editing till 10, 12 o'clock at night. Must stop. No life.
It's the work that you do, huh?
Especially once you and I are together, So you've got to keep on your game with visibility, So show your work all the time. Even if you don't have work to show, go and show something else that you did in a different way. But be in the business, be in the game. Show your work on all the platforms.
Right, dear listener, you are still tuning in to Agape FM. This is the Midday Talk with Nwabisa and across from me is sitting Gavin Gouws across from me is sitting Gavin Gouws of Gavin Gouws Photography and Video. Please do get in contact with us. We are on 069-402-1131, and on email we are info@agaperadio.co.za. But before I let you go, where can we find you on social media?
Everywhere.
So this is
just the name, Gavin Gouws.
Gavin Gouws. Remember the name.
There's websites and Facebooks and Instagrams and
everything.
Thank you for that opportunity.
Yes, thank you for coming. There are two things that I want you to do for me today. Right. Firstly is a question. Well, not even a question, but can you please leave a word of encouragement to someone who's starting photography, someone who has a passion for photography? Because remember, you are, let me just say, you're a guru in what you're doing, right? Because you've got 26 years. 26 years. That is someone's age. That is a long time.
Is that my new name of my business? Gavin the Guru Photography.
Yes, Gavin the Guru. Triple G. Triple G. So a word of encouragement.
4 G's. God, Gavin Guru Gouws.
4 G's. Okay.
Thank you for that.
This is what we do at Agape. This is what we do at the Midday Talk. We are just, it's fun in here. It's fun in here. So what would you say, how would you encourage someone to start?
If it tickles you that you want to be a photographer, okay, that's half the battle won. Because it's a daunting, maybe scary thing to do. If you know you can do it and you have taken some good shots, then you've got it. You've got the creative ability. You've got now all the other things just need to fall into place. You've got work to do. Okay, it's not going to happen overnight, but if you have that a little bit of a desire to do it, then go for it. But go all or nothing. Okay, go flat out. Teach yourself. Never ever give up. You're on your own. It's a very, very lonely life.
True.
There's a lot of photographers. They don't like talking with each other, and they're secretive, and don't.
Yes.
So you're going to find it can be a lonely life. But if you can get on with 1 or 2 other photographers, that's a good thing. And you meet often, and you share ideas and that sort of thing. But you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get knocked down a lot. especially because you understanding that you have a gift from God. The enemy is not happy with that. He's going to rattle your cage. You're going to get knocked down. Every time you get knocked down, get up. Get up. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. And it's a wonderful journey to go on. It is never boring. It's just always different. It's always challenging. It's always interesting. It's always fun. It's always an honor.
I will not even say anything after that, because that is just wonderful. If I say anything, I'll just ruin everything. I believe that you've got something for us today.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank the radio station, to thank you, Tony.
Yes, thank you.
It's interesting how our paths have crossed. You phoned me a week ago, and I nearly didn't answer the phone. But I'm glad that I've come through it. Thank you for helping me through it. Thank you for the opportunity. There's a verse that I want to leave all of us with. So I can just read it. John 14, verse 26. John 14, verse 26. The Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything and make you remember all that I have told you. What more do we need? Amen to that.
Amen to that.
For all businesses. And if you're looking to prosper this year, then just ask God to help you and listen and obey, trust and obey. And there's no one better to count on than our Lord.
True.
There is nobody else. There's no one better.
No one is better than God. Please do seek guidance from God as well. This is the Midday Talk with Nwabisa. I am sitting with Gavin Gouws of Gavin Gouws Photography and Video. Please do get in contact with him at 082-373-7609. That is 082-373-7609. Or send them an email at info@gavingous.co.za. That is at info@gavingous.co.za, or simply go on the social media platforms and search for them. We are on. If you want more information about them from us, we are on 069-402-1131. That is 069-402-1131, or info@agaperadio.co.za. It was lovely.
Can I go now? Are we finished now?
No, not yet. You can't tell me that we are still nervous. You cannot tell me that. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. And please do stay tuned, as Yolanda Singh will be bringing Encounter Me sessions at 3 o'clock. And then after that, we bring you nothing but good news. I'm leaving you with Hillsong Worship saying Hosanna. Goodbye.
Tony.